Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hello and welcome once again to another wrestling review from Cheap Shot Entertainment. Wrestling is opening up again, so we should be at some very live shows coming up in August, but until then we've got the live show that was aired on the WWE Network, and that is Money in the Bank 2021, and it came from the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth in Texas. Yes, this is the first pay-per-view that's been on the road since WrestleMania, and the first one with a full house of fans. Unfortunately, the fans didn't really know what to do with it. I guess they've just been so starved of wrestling action that they just didn't know what to do. So, very flat crowd here, and that's a damn shame, because it was actually a really good pay-per-view. They pulled out all the stops for this one, and it makes you wonder, because the crowds at SmackDown and Raw respectively were absolutely on fire. But that being said, we've got a lot to get through, so let's get on to the main part of the video. Make sure you join us, subscribe, and join us on all social media channels. So we do get a pre-show match on this card, and it is the SmackDown Tag Team Championships that are on the line. It is the current Tag Team Champions, the Mysterios, that's Dick and Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio, of course, and they are the very first father-son Tag Team Champions in WWE history, apparently. So kudos to them, it's been a good run. But it's about time the Usos picked those titles up, and so they did. And it wouldn't be without its own controversy, but basically the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up with leverage from his brother Jimmy, and Jay gets the pin on Ray, and we have new SmackDown Tag Team Championships. We don't have new SmackDown Tag Team Championships, but we do have new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. This match was actually pretty damn good. Got two very good teams here, and the right team won. So I'm going to give this one 3 cheap shots out of 5, and we're going to roll on to the main part of the video. So jumping straight into the main show, we get given a Money in the Bank ladder match. It is the women's Money in the Bank ladder match with Alexa Bliss versus Nikki, almost a superhero, Liv Morgan, Tamina, Natalya, Asuka, Zelina Vega and Naomi. So that gives you an idea of how thin the women's roster is on the main card at the moment, because you've got both tag team champions in this Money in the Bank ladder match, and they're not defending their titles again. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? But this one was actually pretty good. It's pretty hard to mess up a Money in the Bank ladder match, to be fair. And like I say, the crowd was flat. These women gave everything they could possibly give. Zelina Vega, my money was on her coming back and talking a big game. It was not meant to be. I just get the feeling that we're going to get another Otis moment with how they've chosen to book the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, with perhaps a former tag team partner of the winner manipulating the winner, and having her give over the championship or something along those lines. But the first big spot here is when Liv Morgan, who has worked really hard to get into this match, having all of her Riot Squad buddies leave the company, so she's now on her own. First big spot comes from her. Zelina Vega is prone on the ladder. Liv Morgan tries to Hurricane Runner on Naomi to fling her into the ladder. Naomi catches her and power bombs her onto Zelina Vega. And yeah, it looked nasty. It was a big spot, and it was quite early on. So, kudos to the 3 ladies involved here. The second big spot came when Nikki jumps off the ladder, as true superhero style, and takes out the whole field. So the ladder was prone on the outside. She jumps off, perhaps a little bit too much power because the ladder's wobbling, and she nearly misses and hits the ropes, which could have ended very nastily, but she does manage to make it. Like I say, she's almost a superhero, not quite a superhero. Maybe she should have put her cape back on so she could fly like the Hurricane. Anyway, moving on. The finish, it comes when all the ladies are fighting. There's 3 ladders prone in the ring, and they're all fighting each other for the briefcase, and Nikki comes in and just climbs over everybody and retrieves the case while everybody else is fighting. It's a bit of a stupid finish, but the match itself was really, really good. Nikki wins, and like I said at the beginning of this match, I get the feeling it's going to be another Otis. It's a comedy win, which is a damn shame, but I hope they do something better than they did with Otis last year and actually give her the title shot, because Nikki does deserve it. She's worked really hard. She's willing to do the stupid superhero gimmick to get a spot on the card, and she's getting it, so why not? You know, superheroes are big at the moment, especially female superheroes. I'm going to give this one 4 cheap shots out of 5. It's pretty hard to mess up a ladder match, to be fair, and these ladies gave everything they possibly could to this one. Moving on to the Raw Tag Team Championships next, it is AJ and Osmosis defending against the very credible team of the Viking Raiders. Now, the last time you saw them going for the Raw Tag Team Championships, they were having a one better series match of vignettes with the Street Profits, who are now on SmackDown. So, you know, they've come a long way. They still get jobbed out, and rightly so. I mean, honestly, I don't know with this one. I love AJ and Osmosis, but Viking Raiders have been jobbed and jobbed and jobbed. You just think at some point they're just going to leave, and you're down another tag team. You know, WWE, just do something with these guys. They are absolute machines for the size that they are. They can do things that smaller guys just cannot. So make sure that you use that going forward. But it would just show that Osmosis is just a beast, and AJ is the master manipulator, and Osmosis just takes out, you know, both Viking Raiders really. One big spot here with Osmosis chucking AJ over the top rope, and AJ hitting a Hurricane Runner on the Viking Raiders, and some great double teaming here from the Viking Raiders, who are showing that they are the credible tag team, and yet the only reason that Osmosis and AJ have the tag team championships is that Osmosis is just an absolute beast of a human being. Styles slowly comes back. The crowd is behind AJ Styles and Osmosis in this one, which is very strange. Ivar goes up and almost is legal. Press drop from the top turnbuckle here by Osmosis, and it was really quite impressive, even though he didn't do much and Ivar was sort of holding himself up. But drops him on his face, and we move on. Raiders are in full control at this point. AJ gets a surprise near fall, and Omos uses Eric to break up the pin as he just pushes Eric into Ivar, who has just hit the Viking Experience. The match would end with a double choke bomb from Osmosis, and Omos pins Eric to retain the championships. And I'm going to give this one 3.5 cheap shots out of 5 for all the potential limitations in this match. 3 experienced guys and 1 guy is just huge. This match came off really well. AJ made Omos look every bit the monster that he should be made out to be, and the Viking Raiders did their part in creating that character as well. So kudos to the Viking Raiders as well. AJ and Omos still tag team champions. Drew has an interview in the back, says, you know, this is like different from all the other wins he's had, and he's got to win the match, because quite simply he's not allowed to go for the WWE Championship without winning the Money in the Bank ladder match. The WWE Championship is on the line next. It is Bobby Lashley, the Almighty, versus Kofi Kingston, former WWE Champion. Got absolutely dominated by Brock Lesnar after having a decent run with the championship, and he gets dominated again. Literally several times, because he gets dropped on his face in a Dominator by the end of the match several times. Just goes to prove that you don't piss off Bobby Lashley. And I might be the only one of my group of friends that actually likes Bobby Lashley. I think he's an absolute beast. I think he's really good in the ring. He's got MVP to do all the talking for him, so he doesn't need to even try. And as much as that means, he can still dominate in the ring. And this show, kudos to Kofi as well for putting Bobby Lashley over in the way they did. Absolute dominant display. Kofi Kingston just got no offense in apart from the first bit. Pretty much a carbon copy of the Brock Lesnar match, actually, where he lost his WWE Championship. But Kofi does eventually tap out to the Hurt Lock after hitting it for a second time. Bobby Lashley just playing with Kofi Kingston, much, it's the tale of two statures here. Kofi Kingston much lighter and likes to fly. Bobby Lashley just likes to hurt people, and that's why he put on the Hurt Lock and eventually let Kofi Kingston tap out. I'm going to give this one 4 out of 5 because this match did exactly what it needed to do. It made Bobby Lashley look dominant. Didn't do much for Kofi, but he is already over at this point, and people will still clap New Day rocks for many, many years to come. Whereas you've got a dominant WWE Champion that has been proven with the Universal Championship on SmackDown with the head of the table, Roman Reigns, then you've got all the makings of a good product. You've got to put all the other things around it, but there's something different about Bobby Lashley than there was to Drew McIntyre. And I think it's years of experience. Drew McIntyre has the experience. Unfortunately, he won the championship when there was no one at WrestleMania, which possibly hurt his character. But as dominant as Drew was, Bobby Lashley, I feel like there's something different about him, and it's just, he knows how to carry himself as a champion. He knows how to tell a story without saying many words. And that, to me, resonates, and it just makes him a real good WWE Champion. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Raw Women's Championship is up for grabs next. It is another match between Rhea Ripley, the Raw Women's Champion, and Charlotte, the multiple-time Women's Champion of SmackDown and Raw. But I feel like the right woman won in this match because as much as I like Rhea Ripley, there was something not quite right about her on the main roster. I hope she doesn't get buried. I hope she's given a bit more time to get her character over like Bianca Belair has. Obviously Bianca Belair is a bit more confident than Rhea, and you can tell that from the start. I don't think Rhea was comfortable working as the heel, the really bad heel on the main roster, as she was on NXT. I mean, she was the dominant heel, and then she turned face. She won the championship from Shayna Baszler, and she's gone up to the main roster after losing the championship there, and won the championship on the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. You can't ask for a better push than that, but have they pushed too early? I mean, they obviously had a plan, bringing both of these ladies up and then putting championships on them. Just feels like Bianca Belair has just carried that a little bit better. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see Bianca Belair on the show this time because her scheduled match with Bayley was laid to one side for the time being. Because Bayley picked up an injury in training, unfortunately, and she's going to be out for several months. So, get well soon, Bayley, from Cheap Shot Entertainment. But I'm going to give this one 3.5 cheap shots out of 5. Brutally honest match. These ladies do hit hard, and they hit well. And it's just a striking match, back and forth, big heavy moves, but Charlotte just overwhelms Rhea Ripley, traps her leg in the steps, which was absolutely, it looked brutal as well, which is what you want it to be, and then put the figure 8 on, and Rhea just couldn't come back from it. But you know, there's just something about Charlotte that puts her in that championship spot, and it's not because of her name, it's because she works really hard to get there. And as much as people don't like it, that is the case. That's why John Cena was there, that's why Drew McIntyre was there, and that's why Bobby Lashley is there now, and as well as Bianca Belair, Bayley, Sasha Banks, and of course Becky Lynch. They all worked really hard and they got to where they got to. So Charlotte is the only one that's still around at this point in time. They're all with the company. Becky obviously looking after a child, and Bayley on the shelf. Don't know where Sasha Banks is. You've not seen her since WrestleMania, but you know, maybe that's cue for Sasha Banks to come back. I don't know. Maybe they could rekindle their rivalry from NXT. That'd be pretty darn cool. We go on to the penultimate match. It is the men's Money in the Bank ladder match featuring Kevin Owens versus Matt Riddle versus King Nakamura, Ricochet, John Morrison or Johnny Drip Drip, Big E Langston, Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. Much to contrary of popular belief, Drew McIntyre wasn't in this match very much. It sort of split off and separated. There was a big spot on a ladder that Kevin Owens took. There was a couple of other big spots with a table and things like that. But the right person won here, and unlike the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, which means that this one gets 4.5 cheap shots out of 5, because Big E Langston finally gets his push. He is Mr. Big Money in the Bank, because he climbs to the top of the ladder after delivering a big ending on Seth Rollins, who touches the briefcase last, which means I get bonus points in my prediction league. What's up, Squared Circle Jobbers? And Big E picks up the chance to challenge for a title. It's about time, because there was talk about a big push for Big E for a long time, and this just gives them that storyline, that place to put him in that main event. And yeah, I like it. Good choice for Mr. Money in the Bank here. Big E wins, dominates the field, lots of high spots. Ricochet just there just to ricochet off everything and jump on people, unfortunately. But yeah, it's good to see him back on a pay-per-view card as well. But yeah, really good match. Like I said about the women's match, it's difficult to mess up a Money in the Bank ladder match, and these guys certainly gave it their all, much like the ladies did earlier on in the night. Moving on to your main event now, and there's lots of hijinks in this one, as well as a surprise return, which you've probably heard about by now. It is the Universal Championship match between Roman Reigns, the head of the table, I'll acknowledge him, and Edge, the rated R superstar who has come back from 10 years of adversity and injuries, to come back last year and to get another injury, to come back this year, win the Royal Rumble, go to WrestleMania, have it as a triple threat match in which Daniel Bryan would disappear thereafter, and finally getting his one-on-one match with Roman Reigns. So I fully expected Edge to go straight for a spear. He did not. We got lots of hookups, lots of grappling and things to show dominance, and told a story of Roman Reigns being much stronger, but Edge being a little bit more clever in the brain, because he would use his years of experience to gain the advantage here. The ultimate opportunist came close several times in this match, but couldn't quite put Roman Reigns away. Of course, then we got some hijinks we got the Usos coming down to interfere. They would be cut off by Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio, who incidentally, round about 10 years ago, Rey Mysterio and Edge were the first ever SmackDown Tag Team Champions. The inaugural ones, in fact. I think they were. Was it Angle and... I think it might have been Angle and Benoit, actually. Shut my mouth. I'm going to have to find out about that. Anyway. It would eventually be Seth Rollins who would cost Edge, as Edge has the submission move locked in on Roman Reigns. Rollins would come down and kick Edge in the head because the referee was out. Edge would do his crossface with the chair piece, which looks nasty, and Roman Reigns sells it really well. Rollins would kick him in the side of the head. Reigns would then hit, or try and hit, the spear. Edge would counter. Still wouldn't happen. Rollins interferes again. Roman Reigns eventually hits the spear. We get another referee. 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns is still the head of the table, and the Usos, or the brothers, band of brothers, the head of the table, the family, whatever you want to call them, now hold all the gold. Well, some gold and some silver, with a few diamonds. Anyway, they have all the gold. It's as simple as that. Apart from the Intercontinental Champion, I think it's the Intercontinental Championship on SmackDown. What's the US Championship? No, it's the Intercontinental Championship. I haven't seen it for a while. I don't even know who's Intercontinental Champion anymore. That's how much it doesn't mean to WWE anymore. It makes me very, very sad. I'm going to give this one 4.5 cheap shots out of 5. It was a damn near perfect match for what it was, and these two told a great story. Obviously, I think this is going to continue, and then I cannot corroborate this because I couldn't see him, but I think John Cena then made a return after the match. Who is going to beat Roman Reigns? Do 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 do. You know it was coming. His last movie was crap. Go and check that out on Quick Shot Reviews for the dedicated movie channel for Cheap Shot Entertainment. Type in Quick Shot Reviews and you'll get that review of Fast 9. So lazy it is that they couldn't even type out the Fast and the Furious and just call it Fast and Furious. Should have known before I booked my ticket to go and see that one that it would be absolutely awful. But back to wrestling. John Cena has decided that he's coming back probably to win the championship at SummerSlam. I would actually put my money on that happening. So he's then 17-time champion and he breaks Ric Flair's record. So only time will tell. SummerSlam is your next one. It is actually on a Saturday, so I don't need to book any time off work, which is great. And hopefully we'll be able to get the boys down and we'll be able to watch that live with you guys. So let's move on. Final thoughts. And now, friends, it is time for my final thoughts on Money in the Bank 2021. Overall, a really good pay-per-view. I really enjoyed it. Some really good matches here. They really pulled out all the stops. The crowd, unfortunately, was very, very flat. But you can't get people to cheer what you did for the last year, because you could pipe the noise in, but obviously when the crowd is in, you can't get them to cheer when you want them to, or tell them behind a television screen what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah, if I never hear the word Thunderdome again, I'll be very happy, unless it's in a Mad Max movie. Don't know why they called it the Thunderdome. I thought it was going to be like the WCW Thunderdome, where it's going to be a big cage match and then they put all these screens out. It was good to have people there. I mean, it saved the crowd being, well, non-existent, and AEW did it a different way. They had their superstars surrounding the ring, creating a bit of noise, and I think ultimately, if I was looking back at the last year, I would pick the AEW version. But the WWE version, for how big a company they are and how much money they want to make, they did make the right choice in not inviting people back and having people around the ring, because it made sense. NXT did it a little bit, but they were behind shields and glass and things like that, so no germs could spread or anything like that. Unfortunately, having at the time of recording this video, cases are going up all the time of the C word, but fingers crossed we won't have any more lockdowns and wrestling can come back proper. And if not, I've got some ideas of how to help Aspire Wrestling Alliance, who you can follow on all social media channels, to put on some shows, because the guys and girls have all been working really hard to get that first date in place so we can put on a show, and they deserve it, and everyone else deserves to watch it as well, because I think it's going to be a really good show. And we will be there. Cheap Shot Entertainment may even be part of the setup, you never know. Check it out at the time when we know whether the date is. I will let you know. Till then, my friends, you are the Cheap Shot Nation. This has been my review of Money in the Bank 2021. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.
Hiya.